Hey guys, it's Sithlord. Welcome back. Today I want to talk about the Horrify skill, which is a excellent crowd control skill, as it fears all enemies within a 12-yard radius for 4 seconds. The 12-yard radius is a pretty small radius, so unfortunately, unless you're actually in the middle of battle or surrounded, then it's not overly effective for that purpose. But let's take a look at it. So it did fear a couple of guys. It fears them for 4 seconds, causing them to run in fear. If they are trapped, such as this situation, then it's not going to do a whole lot of good because they can't go anywhere. The good news is that they won't attack you. So the basic skill causes them to run in fear for 4 seconds. When there's actually room for them to run, it's essentially 8 seconds of freedom that you're given, because they run away for 4 seconds, and there's an additional 4 seconds that it takes them to get back, unless you're chasing them. Phobia just increases the duration to 6 seconds, so you really have about 12 seconds of safety. When I say 12 seconds of safety, I'm more referring to when you're dealing with single enemies. So this is a great skill. As you can see, a bunch of them took off after they were feared. So my build does not truly gain the benefits from this spell because of the fact that I'm a pet build, and so I actually do want to stay in range and want the enemies to stay in range. So that my guard, my range skills can effectively take them out. So it depends on your build primarily if this is an effective skill. This is a great skill to have if you're dealing with vortex enemies. And you know what? I'm not going to deal with this pack right now. So let's change the runes up, and then we'll come back. So Stalker, increase your movement speed by 20% for 4 seconds. This is, again, very, very beneficial. I wasn't in range. A great skill when dealing with a vortex pack, because you just got pulled into battle and you don't necessarily want to be pulled in. So if you're in range and trying to get away, then yep, this can be great. So you can see my movement speed is slightly higher, and now it's back down to the lower range. So from that perspective, yep, you know what, this is a pretty good skill, but I think it's got extremely limited effectiveness. Now that the skill's back, so now you can see my movement speed, and from the animation you can tell that I slowed down. So that's the Stalker rune. The Face of Death rune is, to me, the strongest of the rune choices because it increases the range to 24 yards. So you'll actually have the most enemies that are impacted by this. So even the chickens are running away. The only, and I wouldn't say it's a disadvantage of the increased range, but by having a whole ton of enemies running away, you've got less enemies to target. So this is a great spell when you're dealing with other ranged characters, and you can stay together. So wizards and demon hunters specifically gain a lot of benefit from this. For some reason I just tried to horrify a treasure goblin. The Frightening rune is gain 100% additional armor for 8 seconds. So let's actually cast this in town, and you'll see what happens to my armor. So right now my armor's 3700. You cast it, it goes to 7300. So it does cause, just as it says, the increased armor benefit. Now that I'm back to the other one, it's so it was a significant change in my armor reduction. On paper, this looks like an absolutely incredible skill. The disadvantage to it is, so we just cast Horrify. And now they're back. Well, it wasn't as effective as I was trying to show, but when the enemies are running away for 4 seconds, especially outside, for them to come back, it's going to take the entire 8 seconds for them to come back. And therefore, you're not really gaining, they won't be hitting you anyways, so the additional benefit that you're getting from the armor is nullified. So again, on paper, this looks like a great choice as it increases your defensive, your damage mitigation significantly, but overall, since you're not going to be getting hit all that often by those that are horrified within that time frame, then you don't really see the true benefit. So let's go to town and we'll take a look at the last rune. So the last rune is Ruthless Terror, which increases your mana for every single, not increases, you recover mana for every single enemy that's been harvested. Fortunately, I don't have any mana intensive skills on my bar right now, so let's Grasp of the Dead, and now I've got a full mana pool again. So it's most of the time that you're going to be casting Horrify, unless it's a situation like this. There's going to be multiple enemies around, and even at this point there's multiple enemies around. And so if you're using zombie bears, if you're using acid cloud, anything that has a fair amount of mana associated with it, then it'll help to rejuvenate your mana pool pretty quickly. Because of the fact that there is only a 16-second cooldown, you can use the skill even if you're not wanting it for the Horrify aspect, just to regenerate some additional mana when there's a bunch of enemies around. So another strong rune choice. It's kind of up to you of what you want to use it for. Personally, I feel that this one and Face of Death are the two strongest. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thanks, guys.